Hi, my name is Jim Colari. I'm the editorial director of Plastics Technology Magazine, and I'm joined today by Kevin Huntsman. Kevin is the Senior Vice President of Mastio & Company based in St. Joseph, Missouri. Mastio is a market research company who does quite a lot of business in the plastics field. We're here today to talk about polyethylene film. We have been doing a series of blogs in polyethylene film based on Mastio's research, discussing 5 big markets for polyethylene film, the 5 biggest, and the 5 fastest growing. Before we take a deeper dive into what we want to talk specifically about today, Kevin, could you tell me a little bit about Mastio's research into the polyethylene market and what it is exactly that you guys do there?
Absolutely, Jim. First off, thank you. We appreciate it. Mastio has been in business since 1989, so a little over 30 years, and most of our lifetime we've been doing this polyethylene film market. We publish it about, Jim, every 2.5 to 3 years. Really is our most popular market study that we do. Obviously, it's popular with not only the resin companies, but converters, the distributors, the equipment people, folks looking at it from an M&A perspective. So a lot of different uses for this type of data. Really what I like to focus on as far as the study itself is the methodology that we use, and our team and the team here at Mastio is led by Kim Enna, has been doing this study for 25 plus years. They focus using what we call primary research, Jim, where they're making these telephone calls themselves. They're reaching out to these individuals, capturing data to get a more holistic view of the company, talking with people in disciplines such as purchasing or engineering or extrusion managers, marketing, sales, senior level leaders, etc. We published this latest study, Jim, in March of 2020. So we started collecting the data the latter part of 2019 and then published in March. Obviously, polyethylene is a good place to be, a lot of growth, some compelling information here to really provide feedback for a multitude of different folks.
Good, thanks for that overview. So the topic today is the sheet and tubing market. Now, that's what the blog is about. And if you read the blog, you'll be able to link to previous blogs we have written based on Mastio's research. So, Kevin, what is the 30,000-foot view on the sheet and tubing market? I guess it's a catch-all. I guess it's converter.
It is. It really, I call it a grab bag, if you will, but it's the 4th largest market out of the 33 that we measured, Jim. And really, sheet and tubing is used in a multitude of different open or end-use applications and products. I think the real thing to focus on here is when our research team is collecting this data and we get information from a sheet and tubing market, we will put it in its respective market if the film processor knows where it goes. Sometimes they just don't. So that's what happens is it ends up in the sheet and tubing. And it's really one of our larger markets. It's a $1 billion plus market. Just fell out of the top 5 that we've talked about already. And it's also, in addition to having a large amount of volume, there's a lot of participants, as you can well imagine. So there's nearly 60 participants, and with that many participants, it's a very fragmented market. So there's no major holders of a massive amount of market share. It's just spread out across that 57 different participants that we profile.
Yeah, and that kind of distinguishes it from some of the other bigger markets where the focus is generally centered on the five leading players. They generally have the biggest market share.
Absolutely. And some of those markets we've spoke about before, 2 people may have 50 to 55% market share in something like stretch film or shrink film, whereas this is much more fragmented.
Is this one of those markets where the film producer might not necessarily know where the product is going to be used in terms of his product, in terms of an end product basis?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It ends up some places they just know they've got the specs of what they need to make and they don't necessarily know what it goes into. But again, as I mentioned earlier, if they know, then that's where we put it. If they don't, it ends up in this grab bag, Jim.
Gotcha. All right, Kevin, thanks for your insights today. I appreciate them as always. I just want to remind those who are viewing this little video clip, read the blog. You can click onto the mastio.com website for more information about what that market research does within the plastics field and in other fields for that matter. And also, again, you can click on the hyperlinks that are in the article below to see what's going on in some of the other blogs and end markets that we have already covered. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Jim.